Mom and sister tried for years to reconcile me with my ex, but I married someone else and got pregnant. So, I started dating my brother's best friend when I was 16. We stayed together through high school, but things got messy after graduation. He proposed, and I turned him down. My family freaked out, begging me to reconsider, suggesting a long engagement or whatever to keep the peace with my brother and sister. My brother, who's now 36, took some time to get over it, but my relationship with my sister, who's 32, totally tanked. She was convinced my ex was my perfect match and became unbearable, especially after she started dating my ex's brother. Everywhere I turned, my ex was there. Family holidays, parties, you name it. He was even invited to family events because he was still tight with my siblings. I tried to be cool about it at first, but my sister started pushing for us to get back together hardcore. She tried setting us up on blind dates and even made us share a room during holidays. It was ridiculous. Finally, I had enough and asked my parents to step in. They told my siblings to back off a bit, and things got slightly better. My brother eased up, but my sister just wouldn't. When I met my now husband during a semester abroad, we clicked right away and got engaged after a year of dating. My family was thrilled, except for my sister. She wouldn't stop saying it was just a honeymoon phase and that I'd come to my senses. After countless fights and her trying to reunite me with my ex, I told her if she tried anything again, I'd cut her off for good. She didn't listen. At her wedding, she had the nerve to pair my husband with one of her friends, and the poor girl made a move on him at the reception. My sister said since we weren't married yet, it was okay to explore other options. I was done. I left the party and told my parents and brother that I wouldn't speak to my sister ever again. If they tried to fix things between us, I'd cut them off too. My mom was devastated, tried to negotiate, but my dad and brother supported me. Besides a couple of attempts from my mom, I haven't spoken to or acknowledged my sister for the past 6 years. She tried everything to make up, from gifts to tantrums, but I ignored her. At family events, I acted like she didn't exist. She tried causing drama, but when no one backed her, she gave up. She had a meltdown when she found out she wasn't included in my wedding prep at all. My brother feels guilty for going along with the whole situation for so long, and his relationship with my ex has deteriorated. They still talk, but it's not like before. A couple of weeks ago at my mom's birthday, I announced I was expecting my first child. Everyone was happy, except my sister. My mom later invited me for tea, and my gut told me it was a setup, but I went, hoping for the best. When I got there, my sister, her husband, my ex, and his mom were all waiting. They planned an intervention, saying I was being childish. My ex said he was just trying to be romantic, and his mom said my sister only wanted what's best for me. They all had their say, and I just texted my family, husband, and brother, feeling completely betrayed. My brother stormed in, furious, grabbed my stuff, and got me out of there while I was sobbing. I later told everyone except my mom not to contact me again or I'd involve the police. My dad is staying with my brother to support me, but some family members are on my sister's side. Mutual friends have reached out, worried about my sister, who's spreading lies that my husband is keeping me away from my family. I hate airing my dirty laundry, but I posted a long Facebook post explaining everything. Now my sister, her husband, and my ex are getting dragged, which they deserve. My mom is inconsolable, but I met with her to lay down rules for any future interactions. This includes therapy, clear boundaries, no sharing info about me with my sister, and separate holidays. I told her if she ever pulls something like this again, she's cut off for good. She thinks it's too much, but is willing to do it. She assumed this meant immediate baby news access, but I told her it doesn't. So, basically, there's this whole process thing my mom has to go through to prove she's actually changed, and my dad and brother have totally cut off my sister. They've been apologizing non-stop for not stepping in sooner, but we've moved past it because they've really grown from the experience. My hubby has my back no matter what, but my Mill is kinda on the fence about cutting my mom off from our daughter. She says it's my call in the end, and I'm really torn about what to do. People keep chiming in with their opinions. Like, some folks think now that I'm pregnant, I should quit pretending with my husband and that I'd be happier with my ex, which is just crazy to me. My sister swears she's not trying to get us back together anymore, but insists I can't rob her of the chance to be an aunt. She also called me a bad sister for being close with my Sills, who are honestly wonderful. I'm not buying her story for a second, though. The real dilemma is what to do about my mom. Someone commented saying they can't understand how my sister could have been my best friend if I wasn't dating my ex. I have no clue what my mom is thinking, but my husband thinks she might be mentally unwell. The weirdest and freakiest part? My ex still has these old mixtapes and CDs I made him like 20 years ago, major stalker vibes. Another comment was surprised that my ex is still in my brother's life. They suggested I stay firm with my mom and give her no timeline. She needs to stick to the rules. My brother did start distancing himself from my ex after I told my parents I felt really uncomfortable with him being around all the time. When I'd come home from college, my brother would go out of his way to make my husband feel welcome, which just made things worse with my ex because he felt betrayed. Now, my husband and my brother are super close, and my brother only talks to my ex when it's about my nephew or to be polite. It's a bummer to think that my mom has been behind a lot of this. She was always so nice to my husband, but now I'm second-guessing their whole relationship. For a bit of context, we're not Indian or religious. My parents were generally great supportive folks. They thought my relationship with my ex was cute at first, but later realized it was a bad idea. I had no idea that my dad was the only one truly supporting me, while my mom might have just been pretending. My sister has this wild idea that we should both marry brothers and be best friends for life. It's also sad to think my ex has been with other people and has kids but has never married because he only wants me. His obsessive behavior isn't just towards me either. He was the same way with his kid's mom. He's back to focusing on me now because my sister is pushing for it to get back on my good side. Update time. I broke up with my ex when I was 18, and he's 37 now. This romanticized stuff from my sister drives me nuts. My brother did start cutting off my ex when I told my parents how uncomfortable I felt about him being around. My husband and my brother are tight now, and my brother only talks to my ex about our nephew to be civil. My parents seemed okay with me avoiding my ex, but now I think only my dad actually meant it. My family and I are talking about possibly going no contact with my mom for good. My brother and his wife are considering it too, and will keep their kids away from her for now. It sucks to think all those nice moments with my mom might have been fake. My husband is really upset about it, and I'm just so heartbroken. There are so many conversations left to have, but I think we're heading towards going no contact with my mom. So, here's the latest drama with my family. My sister and her ex are still in the mix, and my mom is being, well, difficult. I had a chat with her, but she's convinced she knows best and insists I'm a terrible person. She's even talking about getting grandparents' rights or custody. I know I'm not what she says, but I still freaked out a bit. So, we sent her a letter laying things out. My dad has officially moved out. He flat out told her he couldn't stand by while she terrorizes us. My brother and his wife have decided to distance themselves too. It sounds sudden, but honestly, you probably don't realize how desperate things got after our intervention. My husband told everyone they needed to really think about what they value and to be kind and receptive, but he won't have our child growing up in a toxic environment. Seriously, I love him so much for that. My husband is super heartbroken about my mom's fakeness. He's done with her. Meanwhile, he and my sisters had a talk with my Mael about a comment she made, and she totally got why it was out of line. My dad and brother keep apologizing for their roles in this mess. My dad's in disbelief about how things have escalated, but they both assure me they have my back no matter what crazy fight my mom tries to start. Update, December 17th, 2021. Thanks so much for all the lovely messages and encouraging words. I wanted to share this update here since my original post got deleted. Things are super mixed, some great, some horrible, but I'm trying to stay positive. My brother and his wife had to explain to their kids that Grandma's behavior was harmful and that she wouldn't be in their lives anymore. They even explained that the other aunt wouldn't be around. But the kids seemed fine with that since she wasn't great with them anyway. My mom lost it when she found out and started claiming she had rights and would see her grandkids no matter what. My dad is on the hunt for a permanent place but will stay with us until January because my brother's MIL is visiting and we have the space. He's really upset, has already contacted divorce lawyers, moved his bank accounts, etc. My dad's been bombarded with emails, messages, and calls from my mom, but he's not replying as per his lawyer's advice. Things got really intense a few days after my last post. My mom and sister showed up at my house unannounced, and the cleaning lady let them in because she didn't know the new rules. I saw their car when I came back from errands and called my relatives. My sister-in-law was closest and rushed over to make them leave. I started feeling really bad and had to go to the doctor. They told me all the stress was bad for the baby and I needed to chill out. My dad, brother, uncle, and husband went back to the house and took everything my dad could think of. My husband said my sister was there, screaming that he destroyed our family. My dad told my mom and sister they almost harmed the baby and he's done with them. My sister keeps begging my brother for help, but it's not happening. I'm heartbroken over my nephew losing so much family because of my sister's crazy ideas, but it is what it is. About my mom's threats about custody and grandparents' rights, my lawyer sent her a letter stating she's harming my health and the baby's, and if she keeps it up, it'll become a legal issue. My brother also sent her a similar letter. Both my mom and sister have refused to go to therapy. They might be mentally ill, but it's clear they've been in on this together for a while. I'm focusing on spending the holidays with my family, staying healthy, and going to therapy. Update, March 30th, 2022. Hi everyone. I've had some requests for an update and finally found a moment to share. Thanks so much for your kind words and advice. We were extra cautious because of your input and it made a big difference. Some folks asked about how we found out the baby's gender. We waited until the 20-week mark to announce it because of a past loss we experienced, which we were preparing to announce when it happened. We wanted to be sure this time and feel safe about sharing the news. We naively thought it would be special for my mom, but oh well. After posting the announcement, my husband read through your comments and advice. We swept the house and found nothing but still felt unsafe, so we stayed in a hotel with my dad. Then we found a tracker on our little dog's vest, something we'd never have thought to check. My dad was walking the dog near the hotel when my sister showed up asking about me and reconciliation. We were so upset that we decided to move. Thankfully, we can afford it. We're renting out our old place, so it's not just sitting empty. I used to love that house, but now it feels ruined. So here's the lowdown on everything that's been going on. Our family went all out with changes, new phone numbers, fresh gadgets, and we made sure to inform our employers, friends, and the police. We even kicked off some therapy sessions for ourselves and as a family. My dad and brother are dealing with a ton of guilt, even though I've completely forgiven them. But hey, we're all healing together. On the flip side, my sister and mom are adamant they're in the right and see no need for therapy. My dad, feeling utterly done with my sister, updated his will so her son gets a trust fund and some inheritance while she only gets a token amount. I felt bad for her initially, but decided my energy is better spent on my baby girl. She's here, and we're beyond blessed. It's not the experience I envisioned since my mom's out of the picture, but friends and other family members have wonderfully stepped up. We got so paranoid by the end that we tested some folks by telling them I was in labor to see who'd leak info to my mom and sister. It worked perfectly. We found the moles, cut them off, and explained things to the rest who totally got it. My ex, who my friends amusingly call Bates, tried to spread rumors that the baby was his, claiming we had this torrid affair. No one believed him, which led my husband to contact Bates's employer. Long story short, Bates is under suspension, likely to be fired, as his workplace is digging deep into the situation and seems super apologetic. Mom's been trying to track us down, but everyone who knows where we are has gone no contact with her. Dad's lawyer sent a letter telling her that all communication now goes through lawyers due to her instability. It's been just us and Dad. He's been a rock star, helping with babysitting, feeding, and diaper changes. My nephews are as loving as ever, and Dad even managed a visit with my sister's son after some drama where she threatened to hurt herself unless my husband stopped alienating her from the family. Dad emailed her with a police warning about her threats, so that nonsense halted. Some folks thought I gave Bates false hope, but that's not true at all. It took me years to be comfortable with the idea that he'd move on. After I got engaged to my husband, I had to keep fighting my sister, which delayed my marriage. Despite all this, I still love my mom and sister, but I choose a healthier, happier life for my family over that love. This whole ordeal has made me realize how much loyalty, love, and compassion are around me. As strange as it sounds, I feel lucky it all blew up. Big news! We officially moved into a new house on June 25, 2022, and Dad moved into the guest house. After many discussions, both in and out of therapy, we decided it's best for him to be close but still have his space. We're still renting out the old place and we'll decide what to do with it later. Dad has all the grandkids over about 3 times a week. He still sees my sister's kid separately because she won't let him take the kid without knowing where he lives. A fair ask, but given her erratic behavior, we're keeping our distance. Mom complained to the lawyers about how unfair it is that Dad still gets to see all the grandkids, but there's nothing she can do. A month ago, Dad admitted he's been paying for my nephew's schooling and babysitting to keep seeing him, which is why my sister allows it. He felt guilty for hiding it, but I reassured him it was all good. On Mother's Day, Dad got an email with a link to a sad Instagram video portraying Mom as a saint abandoned by her family. It was pathetic, and I just forwarded it to the lawyer. Dad officially filed for divorce in May, and it's still ongoing. Mom insists he's wrong, but Dad said he'd rather drink bleach than go back to her, so that seems final. For Father's Day, my brother and husband took Dad out for a blast of a day. My sister posted a ton of stuff, but we blocked Dad from seeing it so he could enjoy his day. They even did a camping trip with the kids, aka stayed in a hotel, got a suite, and put up a tent in the middle for the kids, complete with a little teepee for the baby. Having my baby girl has been the best thing ever. Seeing my husband be the amazing dad I always knew he'd be makes me so happy. It's tiring, but with all the support we have, I feel incredibly grateful. I have my rocks by my side. My sister-in-laws and I now have a calendar to make sure all the kids do age-appropriate activities. We want them to know they don't have to hang out with people they don't like, and that their voices matter. Right now, they're all obsessed with the baby and call themselves her protectors. Our get-togethers, brunches, and other family times have become a pleasure without my sister around. I know it sounds harsh, but she really did suck the positivity out of the room. My mother-in-law loves spending time with the baby and stays over once a week. She's super respectful, never insisting on sleepovers or anything. Yes, I break down sometimes because I miss my mom, the mom I thought I had, not the one who said I'd be a terrible mother. My therapist says it's a marathon, and I should focus on the good things. Bill got fired, and his reputation is trashed, but he's still working because his industry doesn't care as much. I got a long letter from Bates complaining about how my husband wrecked him professionally. Bates also seems indifferent to his kids' well-being, and now he's living with his mom again. My husband even got rid of everything from my parents. My parents divorced, and my dad's doing great now. He even started dating our cleaning lady's sister. My mom's struggling without my dad's money, and my sister's having a hard time too because my dad cut off financial help after her son bullied my kid. Bates is still unemployed and sends crazy letters to my lawyer. Overall, things are looking up for us despite all the chaos. Thanks for all the support. Saw his profile and realized he's still spreading lies about my kid being his. Old news, but what really shocked me was a private photo he shared. Told my husband and he was mad, but calm. We found out it was my dad's sisters leaking info to my mom. Dad cut them off and they're still begging to talk to him. My brother's family is great. We hang out a lot and even went on a few family trips. There's also no contact with my mom and sister. My sister is surprisingly happy about it. She never liked our mom but kept the peace. My in-laws are awesome, and we let Mill babysit overnight now. She loves having all her grandkids over, and they enjoy playing airplane with her since she used to be a flight attendant. She had to make her social media private because my mom was stalking her. My husband keeps me sane. We're thinking about having another baby, or maybe adopting, but we're still undecided. We're lucky to have a strong support system. I still miss my mom and sometimes cry over not being able to share milestones with her, but my family's safety comes first. Last fun fact, this Father's Day they went camping and had a blast, except for some mosquito bites and sunburns.